President Joe Biden is backtracking on student debt relief, and a student is suspended for saying a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and the left is targeting Rosario Dawson, who plays Ahsoka Tano, and I have a lot to say about that. So our lead story today talks about President Joe Biden backtracking on canceling student loan debt. And you know the left are pissed. If you want to know my opinion on canceling student loan debt, you can click on the card above and it'll take you to a video that gives more insight on what I think about this topic. In short, I don't think it's the government's job to cancel somebody else's debt. You're the one that took out the loan. You're the one that signed that contract. You're the one that took on that burden. It is your responsibility to pay off that debt, not the taxpayer. So there's an article written by Astra Taylor in The Guardian, and it says Biden is already backtracking on his promises to provide student debt relief. And you know the left are pissed. They want their money. It says here, let's be clear, whatever he may say, Biden absolutely has the power to unilaterally cancel all federal student debt. And you got a picture of two, I don't want to say women because of afraid of being canceled, but they're women. And they're pulling a ball and chain here of debt that they decided to take out. And what are they planning on doing? I want the government to cut the chains. I want the government to pay off my debt. In other words, I want the taxpayer. I want you that has no responsibility of giving me money to give me money. The article starts off by saying, at his recent town hall, Joe Biden made a series of convoluted and condescending comments about American student debt. Well, that's entirely subjective. Maybe he said things that weren't convoluting or condescending to other people, and you just took it that way. Because everything that somebody says you want to take as you're a victim, or that you're being oppressed, or whatever it may be for that issue of the day. His remarks cast doubt on his ability or willingness to confront this country's ballooning student loan crisis. Within hours, #cancel student debt was trending on Twitter, which is the leftist mob. Biden's rambling justification of the status quo was peppered with straw men, invocations of false scarcity and non-solutions. He pitted working class Americans against each other, implying that people who attend private schools aren't worthy of relief, as though poor students don't also attend such schools. He said that money would be better spent on early childhood education instead of debt cancellation, as if educators aren't themselves drowning in student debt, and as if we can't address both concerns at once. He suggested relying on parents or selling a home at a profit to settle your debt, a luxury those without intergenerational wealth or poverty cannot afford. Only to the left is it a shock that Biden has not a clue on what the heck is going on in the world. My electric toothbrush has more brain power than Joe Biden does. It goes on to say, in contrast to Biden's smug comments, Congresswoman Presley recently revealed that she defaulted on her student loans, which is very tough to hear, especially, again, as somebody as a previous accountant that helps people with their finances, even today. That's not a good thing. You don't want to default on your loans. Similarly, at a recent debt collective event, congressional hopeful Nina Turner said that she and her son owe a combined $100,000 in debt. Jeez. It almost makes you sick to your stomach hearing that somebody owes that much debt just on student loans, because you imagine the interest rate on what they're trying to pay off right now. But again, the discussion would be that you are the one that chose to take out that much debt. There's other avenues for you getting a college education, whether that's going to community college and working a part-time job or a full-time job and just taking a few more years to get through that community college or that AA or that bachelor's, whatever you're trying to go for. Go to a cheaper school. Don't go to a private school. Go to a public school that's cheaper, like Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Fullerton, or something anywhere else in the United States that's cheaper. But if you're choosing to go to an expensive school, you're up there in about $40,000-$50,000 a year. It sounds bad, but I don't know what you're doing while you're in college. Are you not working part-time while being in college? Are you just saying, well, I'm a full-time student, so that's it? Well, I don't understand why you can't work a job and then be at school full-time at the same time. When I was doing my bachelor's in accounting, I worked sometimes 2 jobs. I was interning at a tax firm, and then I was also working at Staples. And then on top of that, I was also playing ice hockey for the school. I don't know what was going on with Miss Turner and her son. There could be other reasons. There could be 1,000 other reasons why they took out this debt. But my hope is that they can pay it off quickly and as efficiently as possible without me as a taxpayer paying it. Look, I got my own student debts. That's the last thing I need, is to pay off somebody else's student loan debt without paying off mine first. Former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams has, of course, proudly confessed to being in debt. I'm confused by this because I don't know why someone would proudly confess to being in debt. That's not a thing to be proud about. That's the thing to be embarrassed about. It doesn't surprise me that this statement of somebody being proud of being in debt is coming from Stacey Abrams, who still thinks she's the governor of Georgia. But that's the left's mentality. They just love spending money, so maybe it makes sense that they love being in debt and they're proud of it, which is why they want to continue to run up our debt here in America. Just trillions of dollars because money grows on trees and nobody told them that it doesn't. AOC has said that becoming a congresswoman was easier than paying off her debt. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I think we just wanted to throw her name in there because she's a leftist that you like and you want to put her name in there. It goes on to say, let's be clear about another thing. Biden absolutely has the legal authority to use executive power to cancel all federal student debt. Congress granted this authority decades ago as part of the Higher Education Act. It's even been put to the test in response to the COVID pandemic. Donald Trump and his former education secretary, Betsy DeVos, used the authority 3 times to suspend payments and student loan interest. As he rambled on... Again, whenever I see that, I always picture him just fumbling through his words, just being incoherent, not knowing where he's at.
Handled the another billionaires have made another $300 billion tax proposal.
As he rambled on, Biden gave the distinct impression that he preferred not to have the power to do so. That's a good thing. That's absolutely a good thing that he said, and I agree with that. He shouldn't have the power to do so. And this is a very frustrating issue because what's happening is government is constantly wielding more and more and more and more power. The president is constantly wielding more and more and more power. And conservatives don't want that. We want government to have less power and have more power within the individual. It goes on saying, adding to the confusion, Biden seemed unable to keep his own campaign pledges straight, muddling his student debt cancellation proposals. For the record, he campaigned on 2 distinct planks. 1, immediate cancellation of $10,000 for every borrower as a form of COVID relief. 2, the cancellation of all undergraduate student loans for debt holders who attended public universities and HBCUs and who earned up to $125,000 a year. Keeping these 2 promises an absolute minimum the Biden administration needs to do to keep the public's trust. You really see the leftist mentality here of they're entitled and that they're just completely demanding of anything and everything by saying keeping these 2 promises, this is the absolute minimum the Biden administration needs to keep the public's trust, because there's not more important issues out there than the government canceling your student debt. It's so hard to make sense of this stuff, But the Biden administration should and can do much more. Biden should cancel all student debt using executive authority. No, he shouldn't. No, he should not. It is the simplest way the new administration can help tens of millions of people who are being crushed by the double whammy of unpayable loans and an economy-destroying pandemic. It is not the simplest way the new administration can help tens of millions of people. There's another simple way. Open up the economy, get people back to work again so that they can pay their bills and so they can pay off their student loan debt the way that they're supposed to, rather than asking for a government handout. Yet today, all the Biden administration has done for this country's 45 million student debtors is extend Trump and DeVos's federal student loan payment suspension. Continuing a flawed Republican policy is hardly a progressive victory, especially not for the 8 million FFEL borrowers who are unconsciously left out of the moratorium. You're going to love this. Biden owes this country debt relief not only because he campaigned on it, but because he helped cause the problem. Yes. Biden caused the problem of people going to the bank and taking out more debt. And the sad thing is Biden goes along with this crap. He goes along with these people. And I got to say, you could tell these people don't know anything about finances, and they don't know anything about how money works, and they don't know anything about personal responsibility. They just want the government to be baby daddy and pay off all their bills. That's the thing. Again, I talked about this in my last episode. They don't want the responsibility. The responsibility and burden's on somebody else, not them. That's the thinking of the left. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never their fault. It's never their personal doing. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else manipulating them. It's always somebody else keeping them down and pushing them down for some odd reason. It's never their fault that they went to the bank and took out the loan themselves. They shouldn't have to pay it off. I've even done taxes for people that literally thought they didn't have to pay off their own student loans. I kid you not. I've had people who literally thought that they never had to pay back the loans that they took out. They just thought that it went away. Hand to God, I'm not making this up. This is a true story. It's just, this is the world we live in, folks. I recommend that you go over and read this crazy article because 1, it's comical and you'll get a good laugh out of it. And 2, it just goes on about how Biden owes them and that, people need to pay off their debt and these are ways that we can do it. And this is the ways that we should do it, yada, yada, yada. But it says here at the very end, debtors have to get organized, connecting online and protesting in the streets. Yes, there you go. That's good advice for people. Go out. Don't spend your time putting in applications. Don't spend time trying to get a job, but go out in the streets and complain about it. And that's the exact problem of the left, is they're always just going out complaining about things rather than just going and trying to fix their own problems. And that's the thing, right? It's up to everybody else to fix my problems rather than myself. You wonder how people were raised, right? Is where they think that their problems is everybody else's problems and that everybody else has to fix their problems. I don't understand that thinking, but I don't think I ever will. As much as I try to meditate and reflect on everything the left says, just to see if I'm wrong on some things, right? It's not that I just say something and I laugh about it and I joke about it and I'm condescending about it. It's really things that they say. Honestly, I'll get books on it. I'll try to read up on it to see, okay, well, if they're thinking this way, there has to be some sort of linear logic that can connect all the way through. And it just, time and time again, it's just not a consistent thinking, or somebody has just told them their entire life something incorrect. It says we live in a period of intersecting crises. Some of them are very difficult to solve, but canceling student debt is easy. Sure, because you're stealing other people's money. By refusing to act, the president and his administration are choosing to perpetuate a system that causes profound, pointless, and preventable harm. Well, no, I mean, you could have prevented the harm by not taking out the debt yourself. That could have been done. Well, there you have it, folks. On one end, the left is demanding Joe Biden keep his promise of canceling student debt. And on the other end, Joe Biden's hopefully retracting what he said he was going to do so that we're not left with the burden of paying off somebody else's bills. In our next story, a student is suspended for saying a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Yes, I am not kidding. This is where we're at today. A student is suspended for saying something that is a fact, that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Yes, there might be other extraordinary circumstances out there where you have both appendages, things of that nature, but it is a biological fact. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. So there's a great article here by Chrissy Clark in the Daily Wire, and it's titled, Student Suspended from Education Program for Saying a Man is a Man, a Woman is a Woman. Yes, you heard me correctly. Student suspended from education program for saying a man is a man, a woman is a woman. This person was suspended for saying a biological fact that has been the same throughout the history of mankind, and now he's suspended. And this is the fear of conservatives, right? For saying something that is a fact that somebody else is finding offensive, and now you're suspended for it, or you lose your job, or you lose your career, and now you can't pay your bills. It would make anybody a little worried, I would imagine. The article starts off by saying a New York university has suspended an education student from mandatory teaching programs for posting Instagram videos expressing conservative ideology. State University of New York sent an email to education student Owen Stevens, placing him on suspension from his field teaching programs after his peers uncovered videos of him preaching conservative dogma. The school claims that Stevens' videos call into question his ability to maintain a classroom environment protecting the mental and emotional well-being of all his students. According to a copy of Stevens' suspension obtained by the Daily Wire, the education student will remain suspended from participating in-school field experiences and courses that have field experiences until he completes a remediation plan. The remediation plan including taking down his Instagram videos, toning down his social media presence, and attending school-sanctioned trainings. So what they're saying here is they want to silence the guy, they want to deplatform the guy off Instagram because he's saying conservative ideologies that other people might hear from it. They don't like it, and so what do they want him to do? They want him to shut up. Not only do they want him to shut up, but I think he says it perfectly here in the next sentence. Stephen told the Daily Wire he refuses to take part in re-education training. He's absolutely right. There's no reason that this should be happening to the guy. Again, I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt because I haven't seen the videos. He could be saying some actually really crazy crap. But all in all, that doesn't mean that he's not still able to carry out his job as a teacher. I work in the education field, meaning there's a lot of leftist people that I disagree with on a political level. But that doesn't mean that I think that they're incapable of carrying out their jobs and doing their jobs well. That's what they're saying about Stevens here. That because he has a certain ideology, they don't agree with that ideology, it has that maybe the potential of inciting violence, that, now we're just going to silence you or get rid of you. It says, after review of all materials, I found that based on your continued public stance and social media presence, you do not consistently demonstrate behavior acquired by the conceptual framework of the School of Education. The Dean of the School of Education wrote in an email to Stevens. The university claims that Stevens violated the school's inclusivity doctrine called the Dignity for All Students Act, which requires teachers to foster a diverse campus community marked by mutual respect for the unique talents and contributions of each individual. Again, I mean, it would be helpful to see the videos, but I would be hard-pressed to see how his videos might fit into this category. The dean also insinuated that future teachers are required to support all aspects of homosexuality and gender identity. During one of his Instagram videos, Stevens said a man is a man and a woman is a woman. A man is not a woman and a woman is not a man. The dean told Stevens that his scientific stance on biology is in conflict with the school's Dignity for All Students Act. If you're a science teacher, you got to be freaking out at this moment, because I know biology teachers and I've talked to them about this and they have no idea how to handle this. You got to love this last sentence here. The dean told Stevens that his scientific stance on biology is in conflict with the school's Dignity for All Students Act. It's not that the school's Dignity for All Students Act is in conflict with biology. It's that biology is in conflict with it, and therein lies the problem. Honestly, for me, I see this stuff all the time. It's honestly nothing new, but for the average person, I can imagine this being crazy. I think I've gotten so desensitized to it, and I'm so used to it because, again, I work in this field and I hear this crazy stuff all the time, that it's just another average day. But I remember hearing it for the first time. I've gone through this education training stuff, not because I did anything wrong. It was just required by all of the staff to sit in transgender trainings or all these other trainings, to be very inclusive and be respectful, which we should be respectful to all people, and I am. But we were required to sit into this stuff. And, whether you agree with it or not, it's going to be pushed upon you. And like I said, it's just going through a master's program at USC. It was the exact same thing. And it's just, how much re-education training do you need when you spend your entire life in education training by the left? I don't know. You continue to maintain, I do not recognize the gender that they claim to be if they are not biologically that gender, the dean said. The public position is in conflict with the Dignity for All Students Act, requiring teachers to maintain a classroom environment protecting the mental and emotional well-being of all students. It says here, other videos on Stevens' Instagram page include him explaining how Columbus Day isn't about celebrating every facet of Christopher Columbus's life and how race-based clubs can be toxic to racial progress. Again, it's constantly the government, it's constantly those with power that are telling other people what is toxic and what isn't toxic. What we should be doing is allowing the individual to dictate what they think is toxic and not toxic. If they think it's toxic, then they don't have to listen to it. I would imagine he's not preaching this stuff inside the classroom, right? Just as I'm a math teacher, I wouldn't be talking about this stuff in the classroom. I wouldn't even talking about the stuff that we're talking about here on the classroom. I'm a math teacher. It has nothing to do with math. Sometimes it does, right? I teach statistics and also teach consumer math. This stuff does interwove. It does come up every now and then. But for the most part, you wouldn't be talking about some of this stuff in the classroom. And so, again, it's kind of silly that they're sitting here silencing this guy, making him go through re-education trainings and all this other stuff because he's talking about stuff on his own time outside of work. Stevens told the Daily Wire that he receives threats from his peers since videos were uncovered. Honestly, this does not surprise me. This does not surprise me at all, and it's sad that I even have to say that. And here's one of the other issues, is that the left is allowed to threaten the right, but the right is not allowed to threaten the left. I don't think we should threaten anybody. I think that we should, again, be kind and loving to all. Some people say that I might not be kind or loving, just the way that my tone comes across. And again, this is just the way I am. I try my best to be nice and loving and sincere. I do laugh all the time, behind the scenes and off camera. When you see me do reaction videos, I'll be laughing a lot. I actually laugh at everything. Things that are even inappropriate that I probably shouldn't be laughing at, but I can't help it. But it's sad to hear that he is receiving threats from his peers, and it might be his coworkers, just because he's a conservative. I've received threats and horrible incidents of students who all feel like they are making the world a better place by becoming the woke thought police. Stevens said, overall, I want justice and the right thing to be done. And I have to agree with him here. We want justice and we want peace and we want the right thing to happen. We want the right thing to be done. But what's happening here is the left is doing the wrong thing by silencing people on the right, suspending them, firing them, destroying their lives, all in the name of social justice wokeness. According to the email correspondence obtained by the Daily Wire, the university also sent out an email to all students and staff condemning Stevens for his posts. Jeez Louise. Not only do you have to do re-education, not only are we going to silence you, but we're also going to ruin your image. One of the tough things about this is that I've seen happen to Ben Shapiro is there's schools that will send stuff out about, say, Ben Shapiro that aren't true. You'll have the students that will read this. They won't look him up. They won't do any research. They won't watch his videos. And for that reason alone, they call him a Nazi. They call a Jewish man a Nazi. And this is the problem that I kind of have with the school taking this kind of approach to this, is because you could be demeaning this guy for no reason. And now the students and the staff have a certain image of him. And now he's getting threats because of it. All in the name of social justice wokeness. It says, yesterday I was made aware of a current student's Instagram posts pertaining to transgender people, the university's president wrote. I want to take this opportunity to publicly restate my deep personal commitment to promoting social justice. Well, there you have it. Right there out in the open, you know this person's agenda right off the bat. You know what they believe in. They're all about censoring the right and promoting the left. That's exactly what that statement's saying. In the same email, the president insinuated that the school would like to take action against Stevens, though it cannot infringe on his First Amendment rights. Absolutely right, which is why the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. Which is why my logo has an eagle holding a microphone, the First Amendment, and being protected by the Second Amendment with a handgun. There are clear limitations to what public university can do in response to objectionable speech, the president wrote. As a result, there are a few tools at our disposal to reduce the pain that such speech may cause. And this is the issue, is that they're saying that speech may cause pain. I don't know how someone's speech can cause you pain. You grow up with hearing sticks and stones can break my bones, but words cannot hurt me. Well, that's not in today's world. Words clearly hurt people. Remember, according to the left, speech is violence. Speech is pain. And when you say things, it can hurt someone's feelings. And you can't do that because people can't hear things and just move past it. And that's the problem we're having in today's society. People get so offended over everything that somebody says that they just can't let it go. Because they're offended, something bad has to happen to you. Because you said something mean to me, now something bad has to happen to you. Because you said one thing I don't agree with, now you just lost your job, you just lost your career, and now you can't pay your bills. This is a very terrifying time, not only to be a conservative teacher, but just being a conservative in general. The fact that you could say anything that might be a fact or that you think is true, or literally anything. And what they can do is spot out one sentence and you're donezo. You've completely lost everything. And again, that's why I keep emphasizing for you to please share my channel, subscribe. So maybe this can get big enough that if I ever lost my job or something like that, at least I can still have a platform where I can speak my mind, speak my opinion, and, hopefully make some income off of it. But that's all predicated on you guys. It doesn't seem like my videos are going out there. I can't get ads from Google because they won't allow it because it has a potential of inciting violence, or I'm talking about the election, even though I'm not talking about the election. It's crazy. But this is a very scary time to be living in, not just politics, but also the United States in regards to freedom of speech. And I'm saying that very clearly because we live in the greatest time in human history. This is literally the greatest time that you could choose right now to live. But right now, what's being attacked and the discussion that we're having is censorship and freedom of speech, not just in the education system, but out there in any left-dominated culture or institution, is that conservatives are being suppressed, they're being censored, and they're also being fired. And now, as you see, being suspended for saying a man is a man and a woman is a woman. This is the thing with the left. It's pure evil. This mob wokeness, cancel culture, it has to stop at one point, or I hope that it stops. I hope it's just a generational thing where it lasts 5-10 years and we can do away with it. We never have to see it again, because it's terrible to see. It's not just terrible to see it happen to conservatives. It's terrible to see it happen to the left, doing it to the left. And you have the right that is standing up for those that it's happening to on the left, but they're not there standing up to us on the right. And this mob wokeness and cancel culture is constantly going on, and nothing is ever good enough. Nothing ever appeases them. And you saw that in the Biden article that we read. But you're also seeing it with Gina Carano, and now you're seeing it with Rosario Dawson of Star Wars, who plays Ahsoka Tano. So the left's intention isn't just to go after Gina Carano, but now it's to go after Rosario Dawson. Star Wars stands set sights on Rosario Dawson as next potential target of cancel culture. Well, isn't that just lovely? Rosario Dawson could be the next target of the Star Wars stands who claimed responsibility for Gina Carano's firing from Disney/Lucasfilm. Don't these people just sound lovely? Don't these just sound like people you want to be with? The same people claiming responsibility for getting Gina Carano fired from Disney/Lucasfilm are now setting their sights on a new target, Rosario Dawson. See, these people just look for blood. They're out there to get blood. They're like sharks, and they're there to eat you alive. That's all these people are. They don't care about really what you're saying and what you're doing. They just want to destroy your life for the fun of it, because they're evil. It's just disgusting stuff that these people are pushing and doing. The article starts off by saying, recently, Access Media news outlet Inverse chimed in on the Gina Carano situation with Ryder Johnston, speaking to a couple of people who, through their utilization of Twitter and the hashtag #FireGinaCarano, have claimed victory in getting the former MMA fighter and the Mandalorian actor removed from Disney/Lucasfilm. Before her firing, Carano was rumored to have been tapped to lead the upcoming Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic series on Disney+. Disney even planned to announce it during the Investor Day event in December last year. However, citing Carano's November Twitter activity as problematic, Lucas instead chose not to move forward with the former MMA fighter in any capacity. Dawson played Ahsoka Tano in the 5th episode of the 2nd season of The Mandalorian and will reportedly reprise the role of the upcoming Ahsoka Disney Plus series, which is a great series. If you haven't seen The Mandalorian and her portrayal of Ahsoka Tano, like, it'll blow you away. So I highly recommend it. And just from her portrayal, I do not see the woke mob being successful on this from such a big character in the Star Wars universe and how amazing she looks and how she portrays this character. I'd be shocked if the Twitter mob was successful on this. Whereas Gina Carano's story is a little, she's not that big of a character in Star Wars. We all loved her. She wasn't like a lead character, but more of a supporting role. She did a great job. I'm not trying to belittle what she did. If you're curious on my opinion on how Lucasfilm handled it, the Twitter mob, Gina Carano, Gina Carano and Ben Shapiro inspired me to start my YouTube channel. So I have nothing but support for her. But if you want my opinion on that, I'll leave a card up at the top. You can check that opinion out. But it says here, why the Ahsoka problem? While the bulk of the Inverse article focuses on the events of this past winter that resulted in #FireGinaCarano trending on Twitter, when they finally do get around to talking about Rosario, they point to only a single event as the reason behind the calls for her cancellation. 3 years ago, a member of the trans community lobbed some hefty allegations against Dawson and her family. The accuser, a trans male, filed a lawsuit, Dawson's family, and claimed that they had both assaulted and purposefully misgendered him. It bugs me and several other people, and I think that it would be good if they at least recast the actress because she already made so many people uncomfortable, said V, an anonymous stan interviewed by Johnson. Another stan, Kennedy, noted that an aforementioned court case was a stain upon Dawson's name among stans, telling Johnson, I think that the majority of stan Twitter, myself included, are skeptical of her because we don't know if the charges on her are true or not. Well, whatever happened to the whole you're innocent until proven guilty? I don't know what happened with that on the left, but clearly they don't agree with that. They agree with the communist idea that you are guilty until proven innocent. But the big issue of all of this is the fact that they found a single event, and from that single event, rather than forgiving her, rather than giving her the benefit of the doubt that she might have messed up, or anything like that, is that they just want to cancel her. They want to get rid of her. They want to just cast her aside. Whatever happened to just forgiveness? Isn't that the whole purpose of human development, is to make mistakes and learn from them? And when you make a mistake that maybe affects other people, that you ask for forgiveness, and the hope is that because you're being asked of forgiveness from other people, that those people would actually forgive you. I don't know what happened to this, but it's definitely something that the left does not do. They don't know how to forgive. The Democrats, I don't think, are evil. I think there's a difference between Democrats and left, and I'm being very specific in those terms and ideology. I think they are coming closer together, but Democrats, at least some of them, will give you the benefit of the doubt and forgive you. The conservative right will tend to forgive you because of our religious ideology, because we believe in Judeo-Christian values and the idea of forgiveness. The left does not. And that is scary because you can live 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. We've all made mistakes. We've all said stupid things. I might have said something stupid on this episode already. And if I have, obviously I'd ask for forgiveness. But we've all said something stupid. We've all done something stupid. That is human nature. That's human life. None of us are perfect. And the fact is, at some point in your history, somebody can look back on a stupid thing you said in high school, maybe, I don't know, elementary school, college, who the heck knows? They'll find something, one little event that maybe was 5-10 seconds long, and what they'll do with it is try to ruin your life and ruin your career. And it's absolutely wrong, it's disgusting, and I'm being serious when I say that it's absolutely evil. This is something we need to all unite around. Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green, whatever you're with, is that we need to start forgiving people for the mistakes that they're making. Start forgiving people if they say something wrong, or if they missaid something, or whatever it may be. It's okay to forgive people. People make mistakes. If you truly want to unify with us, maybe start with forgiveness, because again, Republicans are going to make mistakes. Conservatives are going to make mistakes. Talk show people are going to make mistakes. We talk all day long. At some point, again, we're going to say something stupid. It's just human nature. I would also like to point out Rosario Dawson is a Democrat, right? She goes along with all this stuff. So it's kind of like the left are trying to eat the left right now. I believe she's married to Cory Booker, who is as Democrat as they come. And they're trying to just destroy her right now. So we're sitting here trying to stand up for her. The right is constantly trying to stand up for the left. It's the left that will never stand up for the right. Why? Because they don't like us. They just claim they want to unify with us. They just claim they want to be our friends. They just claim that they'll listen to us. But in reality, they're not. They're just listening to wait for us to say something wrong so they can get rid of us, so that they can cancel us. It's wrong. It needs to end. And I've just had enough of it. I've really had enough of it, because we shouldn't live our lives in fear of having to be canceled. We shouldn't have to live our lives of constantly walking on eggshells about everything that we say and that we do, even though we're going to make mistakes. You can walk on eggshells, and you could be a mute and you'd still make mistakes in life. You would still be a mute, and they'll still find something. Maybe you wore the wrong hat. Maybe you wore the wrong shirt. It goes beyond even censoring just the voice. It goes on censoring literally everything that you stand for at this point. And this stuff needs to stop, because all that's going to happen is you're just going to see a constant further separation, because the right just doesn't want to deal with this evil crap. And I fully believe a lot of Democrats don't want to deal with it either. I think that they don't want to be called out for messing up at some point in their life either. Again, if you want to unify with us, if you want to be a country, if you want to move forward, how about we all start with a little bit of love and forgiveness? And I think that will go a long way. I don't think Disney will cancel Rosario Dawson. I think they learned their mistake after Gina Carano and how the backlash and a lot of people unsubscribing Disney really affected them. I like Rosario Dawson. Look, she's a Democrat, and I disagree with her, and I like her. She made a mistake, so you forgive her. You move on. She does a great portrayal of Ahsoka Tano. I liked her even in Rent. I don't even agree with what Rent pushes, but I like the musical. I like what she does. I'm a fan of hers, and I can't wish her nothing but success. And I hope the same for Gina Carano. I wish her nothing but success as well, and I will always be there to try and support both of them, as well as all of you. Going along with the idea of the left censoring the right, if you've seen some of my older videos, I've talked about how Google is not allowing me to run ads. And that's for various reasons, whether it's supposedly me talking about election fraud, which I'm not talking about the election at all, or if I'm having the possibility of inciting violence, even though I'm always talking about trying to portray unity and forgiveness and love and respect and all those things. They're not allowing me to do ads. And so I need to ask for your help. If you know of any family, friends that are conservatives and would like to watch the show, please go ahead and send them a link. Please ask them to like and subscribe so the YouTube algorithm pushes my video out there. And with that being said, I want to thank you for your loyalty and your generosity you have shown me by sticking through to the end of this video. And I look forward to seeing you for the next one. Take care, everyone.